Fighting games are devolving. It's the first fighting games are of the Devolution era. That's what we're calling it now. And if you don't like it that way, then eat shit.
Yeah. So, we do still have the bingo card. It was posted in the community tab. I'm gonna link to it in the description so you can play along if you feel like it. That's pretty much it.
Yay! Merry fucking Christmas.
Yeah.
Hey, I said fuck in the first 30 seconds. There goes our SEO.
Oh no. Well, no, that goes on monetization. Speaking of monetization, we recorded Mortal Kombat 11 recently, which will come out in approximately a month. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I researched, because last time we did a video on it, I had it set to adults only or whatever the fuck. Like, I had it age restricted by or admission or whatever the fuck. Because you said that it would cause problems if I didn't. I searched it up. It only fucks with the monetization. I will still, however, try to edit this video coming out to make it so it's fine, because if the video is eligible for monetization, that means it might reach more people. But the thing with that is that, there's a couple ways to try and go about this. Max has tried making the gameplay black and white. It only works sometimes. I thought about seeing if I can't turn the blood white, like they used to do it in the SNES. And then I'll just make I'll make a thumbnail for it where I edit the MK11 logo so it says Mortal Kombat.
Oh god.
So yeah, as for the news, well, there's been a couple things here and there. So, Guilty Gear Strive cross-platform open beta is live right now, I believe. As we are recording.
Again?
Yes.
We're not doing anything with that, are we?
No.
Okay, good.
I didn't think we were, because you said no, and Pink made a joke, so I figured neither of us wanted to play Strive again, so.
Yeah, I certainly don't.
So yeah, it's a thing. They're still getting crossplay up. That's pretty much it. Crossplay is gonna get added sometime. They're working on it.
Whoa!
And speaking of rollback betas, Samurai Shodown rollback beta has ended, but it happened.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, never mind. I'm wrong. I'm wrong on both parts, actually. The Guilty Gear Strive open beta will happen like next week, and the Sam Show open beta will run from the 10th to the 17th. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for people who own Samurai Shodown 7, even though they don't call it that. Good. I guess, I don't know.
Yeah. I have no strong opinions on this. That is not a game I have played.
Yeah. I've played the demo. It's alright.
Yeah.
Alright, then. I'll get the festivals out of the way. Because there's stuff that happened before these, but I think that will be longer. So, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R is coming to Game Pass. Good for Xbox people. You get to do the JoJo's. Also, oh no! They announced a DLC character for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, Rudolf von Stroheim.
Good old Japan doesn't take World War II that seriously.
Yeah. Like my response or whatever, my reaction to the announced trailer was that one scene from part 2. I didn't expect the third rack to show up.
Yeah.
Oh, that is I believe how Stroheim is introduced. That scene.
Naturally.
Yeah.
How else do you introduce him?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So then this isn't news, but it's an interesting thing to bring up. Apparently, almost all Persona 4 Arena Ultimax Let's Play tournaments have moved to PS4 because of the game's PC port, which
Okay.
is a surprise. But only to
It's
the
all,
yeah, go ahead.
bad ports is hardly a surprise with Japanese games.
Yeah. And then onto the media stuff. Street Fighter 6. Capcom has released a couple of developer matches, including Marisa vs. Manon, DJ vs. Dalsim, and Blanca versus JP. Words. I'm good at my job.
Yeah. DJ looks good.
I didn't see Blanca, so I can't tell you how much I can just KO my way out of playing Blanca. But like I watched all of these, or I tried to watch all of these matches, and I fucking didn't see the Blanca match.
I also skipped the Blanca match because I saw a Twitter clip where he can now, what was it? He can combo like Blanca Ball or something into the little fist slide. And I just was astounded. The range on the fist slide is monstrous now with that little command dash, super dash, whatever you can get.
Oh.
It's absurd. Uh-huh.
Oh no.
Yep. It's goo.
Yeah.
DJ, yes, DJ can, everyone I'm sure already noticed, but nonetheless, DJ can now do fake sonic booms, and double sonic booms are now meterless for him. So I have to assume that's light is the fake one, medium is the real single, and then heavy is the double, right?
Probably, yeah.
And so, yeah, that's pretty nuts.
Yeah. The real weird thing for me, the real weird thing for me is that like I saw footage of like Jamie and Luke doing stuff like this, but Jamie and Luke are new characters. I don't know how they would play in other games. Watching DJ, and I saw him do fucking jumping heavy kick into a grounded special, into a combo, and
yeah,
and I went, oh, so Street Fighter is doing this now.
Yeah. DJ in particular looks nuts, especially once he gets in the corner. And I've heard that everyone in nuts in the corner in Street Fighter 6, but holy Jesus, you know?
Yeah. Like Street Fighter 6 will be weird because it's shaping up to be the combo game for Street Fighter.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be a weird thing to wrap my head around for me because Street Fighter is the footsies game. It's the footsies series. Like like I think I said this, but like the only way they could have veered harder is if they just went, okay, everyone has universal air dashes now. Why? Fuck you.
Yeah. Was there not someone who in that footage did have air dashes? Didn't Dalsim like have air dashes now?
Dalsim has slow air dashes, yes, but Dalsim has had slow air dashes for a while.
Yeah, that is true.
But like I'm just imagining like fucking for no reason like Charlie Charlie could do it. Charlie has done it. Shit. Who Honda? I imagine Honda doing a Guilty Gear XX air dash, and like that's.
It's definitely something to imagine. Yes, the rotundity moves.
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna joke that they would just make it an attack, but it would just be a command dash, and it's command dashes aren't that good. Not in my hands. They're fine otherwise. But yeah, like I'm just imagining Honda and air dashes towards you. If you don't block, it actually hits you. That it can convert them onto other moves. Yes, too much mass. But yeah. So that's Street Fighter 6.
Yes.
Then actually no, that's not Street Fighter 6 because Zelina Vega was also announced as a commentator for Street Fighter 6.
At the Royal Rumble, of all places.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad to see a crossover between wrestling and fighting games anytime.
Yeah. No, not anytime.
Well, yeah,
Olivier.
that's true.
Olivier.
Yeah, he's a thing. That guy, that fucking guy.
Uh, Speaking of Olivier, he's also in Street Fighter 6. Yay. Anyway.
Yeah. That's not surprising, but it's still disappointing.
Yes.
Oh boy.
So yeah, then I saved this announcement for an indie fighting game just because I like the wording of the announcement. They've announced that I don't know if the game came out or what, but they announced something for the game. And it was announced as turn-based 2D fighting game, Mega Knockdown. As a new head-drawn art style that you can still play as Germa. That was the announcement.
Yeah, well, nothing surprises me anymore, but yeah, that's something.
Yeah. If memory serves, I watched the trailer and Germa is free LC. He's two characters.
Of course. Oh, logically.
Yeah. Then, in fighting games related news, Koei Tecmo cracks down on unauthorized DOA body pillows.
Somebody had to. They just had to be stopped, you know?
Yeah.
That series continues to be a joke that embarrasses its own fucking fan base, you know?
Yeah. DOA actually has like fun gameplay. And then there's the IP.
Yeah. It's one of those fighting games that you just want reskinned.
Yeah. Like, I want DOA's gameplay. I don't know if exactly if that would work, but whatever. Like, I want DOA's gameplay to be given like a bloody roar or something like that. Something that's less dumb, but also isn't like a major series. Like, Virtua Fighter is different, you know. Because like the closest thing to DOA would be Virtua Fighter. But if Virtua Fighter suddenly started playing like DOA, that would also be weird.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind, though, because I get stomped in DOA and Virtua Fighter.
Yeah. I mean, once again, it would be an easy switch because like they've already ported half of Virtua Fighter to DOA, so. But yeah. Now let me see, because I do have stuff.
You got the stuffs?
Yeah, I have. Oh yeah. Also, Mugen is getting a rollback.
Yes, that. Remember Mugen? Was all the rage in the 2000s.
Get ready for Ikemen.
And Karate Man.
Yeah. No, Ikemen is the name of the rollback, or not the rollback, the Netplay client for Mugen. But
that does make more sense.
It's also funny because Ikemen means handsome man in Japanese.
Well, clearly,
I don't
clearly he is.
Yeah. So, all right, I'll lead this with this one. So Vince Russo asks, "Dude, what can we do to make fighting games more mainstream, bro?"
Yeah.
I just like
don't leave Vince Russo hanging.
He also elaborated, "What should we do, boys? What can we do?"
Okay. Fair enough, Vince.
People who don't follow wrestling, it'll be so fucking
No,
lost.
I'm in the fucking dark on this one. I'm just kind of like doing, oh, Addie's doing a thing. I'll just shut up and let him do the thing.
No, I found the wording to be funny. That's it.
Oh. I don't understand.
But yeah, actual topics. What are your favorite defensive mechanics?
Oh boy, we brought that one up before and I didn't have an answer. Well, I still don't have an answer right now, really. And I think you've got the same answer you did last time.
Probably.
Is it burst?
Yeah, probably.
Then you have the same answer last time. All right, great
Cool.
topic.
Yeah.
We are off our fucking game today. What is going on?
I don't know.
We're doing it an hour early. That must be it. Clearly, we should never do this an hour early again. Also, I haven't eaten anything in probably 24 hours, and I keep delaying it because we're planning on getting Korean food, but we're not doing it until my sister wakes up, and she's not waking up. So I'm fucking hungry, man. I don't know. Fighting games, what the fuck? Yeah.
So,
Defensive mechanics. I love when I block the mix up of the fucking memesters on Twitter who think they're great. The parries are awesome. Parries are awesome. They are great when they're done right. Mortal Kombat 11 parries, stinky. I don't like that it spins meter. Why does it spin meter? Why I gotta spin meter to reward perfect timing? That makes no sense. It bugs the shit out of me. I don't like that. Also, Mortal Kombat 11, real bad example of defensive meter, just because the fucking thing to get out of juggle combos is obviously better than anything else you can do with the defensive meter, unless you got a really strong interactable on a stage.
I mean,
Other than that, like
the
the way,
KOF rolls can come into handy sometimes.
to be honest, I can never actually get the KOF roll input out properly.
I have to mash it, and then eventually it comes out after
Yeah.
the turn down in a row.
The trouble is that it's mostly useful against zoners, and there's very few knockdown projectiles in Mortal Kombat 11.
It's good against zoners and it's good against rushdown, because if people are trying to melee you, then you just roll to their back.
There is that, but Mortal Kombat 11 also has safe wake-up attacks.
That is true.
Like, lest you forget that Aaron Black can do pocket sand.
So can Kano.
If there's any two characters that would do that, it's them.
Yeah.
Like, how can you pull off a double knockdown, like, counter cross, whatever, and get them both to wake up with pocket sand? Because that would be the way to do it. And they both make Dale's noise of Kia.
Yeah. Then someone raised a point about matchmaking, and this is dialogue about this. This is exactly the kind of experience you can get from Fantasy Strike, a good matchmaking experience, they mean. The whole menu system is designed to have you matchmaking at a press of a button. Replies. But then you have to actually play Fantasy Strike.
That is true.
Yeah, and the reason I'm bringing this whole thing up is that in response to this, people are, there are more people defending and shit-talking Fantasy Strike, and someone raised a good point, which I think is something that we've discussed previously, but not, I don't know if completely in detail. But they raised that one of the biggest hurdles in indie fighting games, one of the biggest hurdles indie fighting games face is the characters. Because you have to
because they don't get access to the iconic characters that everybody else does.
Yeah, they don't get access to the iconic characters, and they don't get in a lot of them, the character design leaves things to be desired, because the characters are what sell a fighting game.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean, that's a solid point, but I'd also argue there are some iconic fighting game characters that don't actually sell the games but keep getting put in anyways. And conversely, I'd say there are some indie fighting games where it's the game, it's the characters that sell it. Because is the Skullgirls roster iconic? No. Did lots of horny people buy it for the roster? Yes.
yeah. I mean, you have to think about, don't you fighters exist?
Like, it's more than characters here. What you're talking about here is legacy. Like, it's not just buy Mortal Kombat because, hey, Raiden. It's buy Mortal Kombat because if you don't play fighting games, you've still heard of Mortal Kombat. You've heard about fatalities.
Yeah.
It's, Street Fighter, Ryu isn't just the image of, like, excuse me. Street Fighter is the fighting game at the end of the day for most people. Mortal Kombat maybe can compete with it. Tekken maybe can compete with it. But other than that, Street Fighter is the fighting game. And that legacy alone does loads of work for it. And the legacy of a franchise name, with the exception of a few franchises, does more for the sales than any of the characters, I would say. Like, there are a few exceptions where I would say the character's bigger than the franchise. And dare I say it, Guilty Gear almost seems like it's starting to get that way with Biken and Bridget.
Yes. Like, Biken and Bridget have outgrown Guilty Gear by now. Yes.
Well, the funny thing, of course,
Biken-
is that Biken and Bridget are both, like, nothing side characters in Guilty Gear's plot. But
No,
for
actually-
outsiders looking in,
like-
it's Biken, Bridget, and friends.
I know, it's Biken, Bridget, Testament, and friends.
Testament, I can see getting there now that Testament's in the place that Testament is in.
Yeah.
Now that Testament is in the place where straight guys will be horny for Testament.
Yeah. I mean, Testament, like, we said this when they came out, as in the character, but I into the game. But it's funny.
Well, it's crazy how some straight... This is more of a real-life tangent than a fighting game tangent.
Yeah.
But it's weird how there are some straight guys out there that all you have to do is change your professed gender identity and suddenly they're turned on. Like, sexuality is weird.
Yeah, I can talk about this topic. I have no experience, so hey.
Anyways, yeah, that's a whole thing there. At the end of the day, like, indie fighting games have a lot of things ahead of them. At the same time, indie fighting games get the strength of fighting game players are very dedicated and will throw everything they've got at a fighting game, just by nature of fighting game players outside of, like, hyper dickish, Street Fighter fans who are like, Street Fighter or nothing, man. It's the rest of the industry is all clones. Outside of those weird psychos, for the most part, the fighting game community...
Outside of our fans. Or fans are friends.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't go that far. Mike's got a dumb take in that he believes every fighting game is a Street Fighter knockoff, but he doesn't also go so far as to say, and then all non-Street Fighter fighting games suck, because he clearly plays the shit out of Mortal Kombat.
Ted
And
does
is
go
curious
that far.
about KOF. Well, obviously, right now, it needs to be said, Ted and I, for those obviously sitting at home, you can't see any of this stuff because it goes on in our private business. But Ted and I have been arguing a lot about a lot of very stupid things, and then there's also been a lot of Ted arguing at me while I just ignore him. But nonetheless,
there's a lot of Ted arguing at everyone for a while.
For a minute now, there is some bug that has crawled up his ass, and it should be mentioned for those who don't know. Ted is a mutual friend of ours. I love him like a brother, but he loves argument, and he loves being right, and he loves the sound of his own voice. And he's a very smart guy, but he also loves the sound of his own voice. I love him like a brother. He can get on my nerves a little bit. I think with Addy, he has crossed the point of no return where Addy wants his head. But nonetheless...
No, it's just that, like, the years of arguing have made me tired, and I'm just weary. I don't want to talk to him sometimes. Because I'm just fucking tired, man. I need a break.
Nonetheless, when Ted had that argument, Ted was, like, very weirdly like, well, okay, yeah, whatever, all this stuff, it doesn't matter, it's a Street Fighter clone. And what was it? Like I was okay, these characters look entirely different. We've got a different visual style. It's very different pacing and balance. No, it's still a Street Fighter clone. But I guess live by the sword, die by the sword. It was weird means he was deciding it was a ripoff, and then it was weird means that got me to convince him that it wasn't a ripoff. Do you remember what I said that turned Ted around, complete 180, like, oh yeah, okay, KOF is nothing like Street Fighter. Do you remember what it was?
That it uses more buttons.
That it uses less buttons.
Or
That's
less
a 4 button
yeah.
setup instead of a 6. That it's a 4 button setup instead of 6. Yeah.
And then
Like,
that's
gotta be up there for the most absurd TED argument of just, like, I won that argument, and nonetheless, I was still unsatisfied. Like, what? Why that?
And for context, before I made that post, I also explained in intricate detail the exact differences between Street Fighter and KOF, because that's how that argues with me. I just did what he does to me.
It seems to me that anytime I've ever won an argument with Ted, it wasn't in fighting him on the details, because in fighting him on the details, he'll always just go down to then, well, the details don't matter, right?
The details don't matter unless I'm winning the argument.
The only time you go in on Ted and try to beat him is when you have a broad sweeping thing. That's what gets him every time. Because the devil is not in the details for Ted.
But yeah, so what was I gonna say? Yeah, the character stuff, like, you know, it's a thing of, like, we also have to consider the context for this argument of the indie fighters have a rougher time with character design and all that, because it's Fantasy Strike. You've seen Fantasy Strike. You've played Fantasy Strike.
Oh my god, this entire time I forgot which game Fantasy Strike was, and I thought we were talking about Dungeon Fighter.
Oh!
Oh my god! Oh my fucking god! Oh! And I'm not gonna lie, Granblue's in that same category. All three of those games, I get mixed up in my head really, really badly.
I mean, I can't.
And the funny thing is, Dungeon Fight, like DNF and what, Fantasy Strike? There we go. DNF and Fantasy Strike, philosophy-wise, could not be further apart.
I don't know. They're going in the same direction, just from different points.
Well, DNF is underdeveloped, but I don't think that means they're trying to make it simplistic. Like, DNF Duel is just janky, stinky, big combo land, while Fantasy Strike is like precisely controlled, no combos, just neutral.
But that's the thing. Like, Fantasy Strike went for a simplistic game by trying to limit the options you have. DNF Duel tried to make a simplistic Kusoge, and there are problems with that statement, which is why DNF Duel has like a player,
and it's max.
Yeah. Because, like, yeah, simplistic and Soga shouldn't go next. Like, no, simplistic and combo heavy games shouldn't really go next to each other, because the reason people like combos is because they're hard to do, generally.
That's oversimplifying and cutting out a lot of people there. You gotta be fair there. Like, you know, there are a lot of people who like combo because it's big, flashy combo. Make Lizard Brain go yes.
Yeah, that's true. But, you know, it's like that. Like the idea of, let's make a game where it's very easy to do big combo. Just seems antithetical to me. Like, it seems like a bad sell. Like, it seems like something that you look at and you go, no, that can't work. That cannot be healthy.
It's kind of a little bit of like, we're almost in too deep there. Because I'm sure that if a casual player went in there, he would find that he didn't enjoy it for a variety of reasons. But that is a thing. That is the thing for people who don't play fighting games to say why they don't play fighting games. Is like, well, big combos and they're so hard to do and they take your control away.
Yeah, I still like the argument that I hate big combo because they take half a minute and then they kill me in one shot and then it takes control away, even though the game like there hasn't really been a game in the past 10 years that released that did that.
They're not talking about games in the last 10 years, Eddie.
I know.
They're talking about Marvel. They're talking about fucking Marvel. You know that.
I know, but these people are still arguing against Marvel in a world where Marvel is dead. I can't believe it. Marvel killed my dog and pissed on my wife. My fucking wife.
But people still want to play Marvel. That's the thing. Marvel isn't dead because it's a dead fighting game design. Marvel is dead because Disney mismanaged the franchise.
Yeah.
And Capcom did at their part as well, of course. Like, at the end of the day, there's also just a thing here of, it doesn't matter how far we go away from it in the other direction. The reputation sticks, and it becomes a thing to go to for if you're just mad about losing in a fighting game, regardless of like actual circumstance. Because I guarantee you, like you look at Mortal Kombat 11, and that is a game that has small combo, small, mostly easy combo. Nonetheless, if someone hops in and plays that game, and they get their ass beat, they'll say bullshit, big combo. And you know what you know what's a situation? They're going to say that even if there were no combos in that, because block pressure for them is also a combo.
Yeah.
Rushdown, combo.
Zoning,
like
combo.
For mid to high tier fighting game players, the menaces are grapplers and zoners. But if you want to get somebody, you want to get a casual to never play a fighting game again, play against them as a rushdown character.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you single-handedly annihilated any chance of Mike ever playing Guilty Gear again.
I don't even think I played as a rushdown.
You didn't at first, but you did the Addy Classic, where at first you controlled yourself, but then you went back into monkey brain and you just unloaded.
I'm talking about character. I definitely played rushdown gameplay-wise because I don't fucking like. That's probably my default. But I don't remember character-wise.
Absolutely. I'm sure you picked. Well, the trouble is, Guilty Gear, everyone can do rushdown. There is not a non-rushdown character in Guilty Gear. Fucking Zoner Supreme Axel Low is absolutely a rushdown character if you do the right moves.
Yeah.
Like Potemkin, rushdown character under the right means. Even though he's slow as hell.
Yeah.
Rushdown. Oh boy, and it's of course a thing also of just like, I mean, there's a, no matter what, there will be something to scare people off, right? It needs to be said, because like looking at again at Mortal Kombat 11 right here, just because I have it right in front of my face at the moment, because I got sick of Dragon Ball FighterZ even in practice mode, is Mortal Kombat 11 built in a lot of ways to be a simplified fighting game that's more accessible. Also, very block pressure heavy game. That is going to make casuals put down the controller. Big combos, they put down the controller. Rushdown, they put down the controller. Zoners, they put down the controller. At the end of the day, a lot of what people love about fighting games and what they want to keep as the core identity of fighting games is stuff that is going to just piss some people off.
Yeah, it's
and
like,
we gotta find. There has to be a balance, but at the same time, you gotta recognize that if you want this thing that you love to succeed while still being what you love, there's just gotta be compromise, you know?
Yeah.
And there's gotta be changes in the narrative. At the same time, there is no such thing as changing the narrative, really. At least not deliberately. It changes over time, naturally. And the fighting game community itself of hardcore players is niche and does not have control over the mainstream. Like, honestly, the most good work that is done for the fighting game community, and I know you're going to balk at this because you're not a huge fan of the dude, but like, Max, I was going to say Max. Did you say LTF or LTG?
No, Olivier.
Olivier. No, Olivier, I think everybody just looks at him as kind of that nerd in the corner. It doesn't matter with him. But Max or Wooly trying to make it a thing, again, of fighting games are fun. Fighting games aren't as hard to get into as you think. Fighting games are fun to sit down and play with your friends and all that. That really does more work for it. And I'll be honest, I'll throw this out, even though it's a funny clip. Justin Wong doing "You're Gonna Learn Today, Kid" is part of the mentality that keeps casuals out.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like that's the thing with those moments, cause I don't know if you know this. There's definitely a meme that I'm trying to push when we play fighting games in our group. Well, instead of just getting motivated or whatever, like whatever the easy meme would be. There's a point if I'm being too harsh on people that are new and we're a voice chat, there will definitely be a point where I just yell "block low coward" and I will do nothing but lows for the next minute. They have to learn
that.
Like it's
that is. Well, that's the thing, right? That's another thing the fighting game community is terrible about, is that there are just a few key tricks that are massive changes that make people massively better at fighting games, and we don't tout them enough.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I don't think that's the way to do it at all. Because Addy, I'm gonna be honest, it makes you come off as just being toxic. And while soon you can encourage by being toxic, because soon will be toxic right back. But that probably will spook off Mike or Pink or Ted or anyone else. Or God help you, Goku. His sweet, gentle soul, he can't take it.
Oh, I did it with Goku. We laughed. It was funny.
Oh no.
No, it was cool because I hit.
Well, he picked Virgil. It's fair.
Yeah, I was about to say. Like I only did that after like the 15th time that he beat me with Virgil.
Yeah.
No, like with Goku, the actual bad one was a fucking Fong, who I didn't know that was a pop stomper.
Okay, maybe you take Goku, I'll take Mike. Okay.
Yeah. What was I?
I think my default lizard brain fighting game playstyle is just generally more like poke, I guess. I don't know. You know what I do to go easy on casuals? I just don't pick the grapplers.
Yeah.
If I don't pick the grappler, I can be beaten. If I pick the grappler,
yeah. Speaking of that always being a problem, Kanji. That's his name, right?
Kanji, Kanji, absolutely. Yes, that was 100%. I mean, that one I was a bit merciless with. I was merciless with Soon because I knew Soon could take it. Soon's toxic. He loves that shit. I figured like, Addy's a fighting game player. He'll understand. But yeah, in hindsight, that was 100% like, all right, goodbye, Persona.
No, it's not even like it's not a thing of like I got fucking salty or whatever. Like that happens. Just whatever. But the thing with Kanji for me is that just like I genuinely do not understand what the fuck you're supposed to do against him with like most characters.
Well, the basic grab is just an SPD. It's on an easier input, but it's just an SPD. So you treat it like an SPD. The dive grab, I'm not entirely certain.
Yeah,
to be honest, I've never had to play against Kanji.
Yeah.
Or I have had to play against Kanji, but I just kept countering the dive grab with the dive grab.
Cause like I get that his gameplay is more or less just a 50-50 mix-up. But the 50-50 mix-up is, if you jump, I grab you. If you don't jump, I grab you. Which makes it hard to block. Yeah.
What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to switch over back to the PC. I'm going to pop open Persona 4 on Steam. And, oh god, somebody tagged me in the wrestling thread. I can almost guarantee what that is about. Anyways, I'm going to launch my copy of Persona 4 as soon as I can find it. There it is. It's 20 gigs. Holy shit.
Holy shit.
All right, I'm launching my copy of Persona 4, and oh shit, I don't have a. Excuse me.
Cause yeah, like you know, I don't generally I play most play styles of characters.
Okay, I can't do Persona 4. I can't do Persona 4 because I don't have a free controller, as the controller is currently plugged into the PS5.
Yeah.
However, you know what I will do instead?
Yeah.
Open Dust Loop.
Oh.
That will probably do it.
Yeah.
Good old. I know you're not a fan of this method, but good old read the experts.
I don't have a like. A lot of times it feels like you get the impression that I just fucking hate everything and everyone. Like I'm fine.
You mean you don't?
Generally yes, but not in specific cases. But
I remember Mike once said, or just in passing conversation, Mike just very casually said, "Addy doesn't seem to like enjoying things." Oh, why does Kanji have an air-to-air throw as well?
See, like my thing with Kanji is with him specifically is just that it seems like he has an answer to everything. He can delay his grab. He can do whatever the fuck. And like unless you have a very fast poke that somehow hits him out of the grab, I don't know what the fuck you can do against him. And at least he definitely doesn't have a fast enough poke.
To be fair, Persona is a Arxis game from about the 2010s. So to be completely fair, lots of characters have lots of moves for lots of situations.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot he had this. He actually has a ground to air grab as well.
Oh.
Which, I mean, that's not setting anything on fire. That's just,
It's just mix-ups. Further mix-ups.
Lots of grapplers have anti-air grabs.
Yeah. But yeah, like I try to play most characters and whatever. Like I know how grapplers work and all that. Like the mere existence of a grappler doesn't offend me. Doesn't fucking make me angry when I get it makes me angry that I get grabbed in that I insert myself up sometimes. Sometimes I can't actually read the grab come in, and I get surprised and I go, that was fucking good. That was cool. But either which way.
Kanji's dive grab is apparently referred to as infamous, so I guess it's a bit of a problem for everybody.
Yeah.
However, it bizarrely enough, even though it is a throw and is considered a throw for blocking purposes, for hitbox purposes, it is considered a high move. So if he throws straight onto a crouching opponent, he will just miss.
Oh, that's good to know.
Like that is weird. He is also invincible to other throws during it. What?
Boy.
He can... Okay, hang on. What the fuck? Hang on. So Kanji's got a move, right, where he does a little jumping overhead with a chair, right? That's a special move he has.
Yeah.
He can do it from the ground or from the air.
Yeah.
If he does it from the ground, he can cancel it into the dive grab.
Boy.
So that is a, like, near perfect brutal mix-up of, okay, if you're crouching, I'll do the chair overhead. If you're standing, I'll do the dive grab. Oh my god, that's disgusting. Oh, Kanji's up there for, like, all-time best throw character. Oh my god. Hit standing and airborne opponents only. Used to punish opponent for trying to play air footsies.
You used to punish your opponent for trying to play. Just full stop.
Has long recovery. What? Oh yeah, it's got 20 recovery frames. Yeah, that could be if he misses. Yeah. Has reactable startup. Can it be short? Can it be anti-aired? I'm wondering that. Can it be shoryu'd? Oh my god.
What?
I didn't try the EX version of dive throw.
Is this an EX?
Yeah, there's an EX dive throw.
Oh no.
It tracks.
Oh no.
However, if used too high in the air, the tracking will be slightly off and put you behind the opponent. Okay, well that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I guess it's supposed to just be a air-to-air anti-air, and occasionally catch someone off guard with a dive throw as you would a dive kick. Otherwise, I guess the answer is either crouch or anti-air. there's also if you're in the air and he didn't use the tracking version, there is the air-to-air answer of air dash backwards.
Yeah.
Or double jump. I guess against Kanji, just don't use your second air maneuver freely, because he can try and counter that. You got to save it for dodging.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. There's that Kanji shit.
Yeah. Like I think Kanji and Tager are the two problematic grapplers that I can bring up from any game, just because Kanji has an answer for everything, and Tager and Tager somehow not as bad, because all Tager does is just send you places.
You only say that because I don't play Tager. You don't play against my Tager, and I don't play Tager very much. But if I did play Tager, I think we'd be singing a different song there.
It's
Tager's
possible.
the only.
Yeah.
Tager's the only grappler I can think of who is just straight up the triple S tier in his series, and like way above everyone else. Like, I'm sure it's a different story by the time of Central Fiction. They probably had him balanced by then, but like the original BlazBlue was just like BlazBlue. Like Tager in that game was almost Odd Job-esque of like, okay, it's not a 9-0, but it's still a, like, if your friend picks Tager, you punch him in the dick situation.
Yeah, like he went on Arcune or that tier.
Oh god, right. Arcune was even worse in the first BlazBlue, right? Yeah, Arcune is pretty up there.
Yeah.
And there's so many BlazBlue characters who aren't disgusting at all and are rather mundane. And then there's those fucking two.
Well, no, they're disgusting. It's just not their gameplay.
Well, Tager's not visually disgusting.
No.
I mean, the most disgusting fucking thing in the world. How many characters are there other than Arcune that have a jumping move that hits low?
Good question. Peacock.
I can't think of any.
Peacock.
Yeah, Peacock. Peacock does have that, but Peacock's way less broken.
Yeah, Peacock is way less broken.
Like, Peacock is Arcune after 30 nerfs. And minus all the stuff where, you know, with Arcune, there gets to be a point where you're pressing buttons and you don't know what's coming next.
Yeah.
Like, Peacock, you always know what's coming next. You can't just enter random bullshit go mode with Peacock like you can Arcune.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Arcune reminds me of... Did you ever use the Reality Stone in Marvel Infinite?
Probably. The lasers?
Oh.
No, that was power.
More than the lasers, when you had the Reality Stone, when you used the Reality Stone's big super mode...
Yeah.
Every face button that you can hit is going to apply a different projectile. And they can all be hit at, like, the same time. So you'd get an issue, like, it was disgusting on Rushdown characters, of course. But if you were at full screen and you popped the Reality Stone, you'd get this ridiculous thing of the other guy just standing on the other side of the screen, doing crouch punch, crouch low kick, crouch heavy kick, all this, that, and another, just rapidly spamming moves to try and get as many projectiles out on his opponent as possible. And of course, it needs to be said, just because you're all thinking about it. Yeah, Dormammu with Reality Stone. Fuck you.
The power of death.
Well, it's like, Dormammu was already nuts in Marvel 3 when he got his shit going, but in Infinite, Dormammu is just unstoppable.
Yeah.
Because they gave him more.
Yeah.
Like, everyone improved a little bit from 3 to Infinite. Dormammu was like, oh my god. Can we get it? Can we get a Marvel Infinite with good graphics? Can that be our next remake project, please?
Can we get a Marvel Infinite with good graphics and a good roster?
You know, keep the roster you got there. Just throw in a couple more picks. Just a couple more. Some of the big ones that are missing, please.
Right.
I mean, like, the new guy...
All right, you get the fucking the comedian guy from Marvel 1. He likes to see Matt again.
Yeah, you know... I'd almost take him. The thing with Infinite is the Infinite's new characters they added are all fun characters. It's just like, where is Doctor Doom? Where is Storm? Where is Sentinel? Where is Wolverine?
In the foxhole.
None of the top tiers from Marvel 2 are in Infinite. Because they're all X-Men characters.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I mean, the funny thing is going to be if 10 years down the line, or hell, even just a year or two down the line, Capcom gets the Marvel license again and does like a Marvel vs. Capcom collection, and Infinite's right there, and suddenly there'll be a bunch of people going like, yo, this game's actually great though, why, what was the problem? And I'll just be like, yeah, we were saying that 7 years ago. Thanks. Dicks.
What was the problem? Opens up Roster's screen. Opens up fucking story mode with Charlie's face.
Yeah. No, they fixed Chalmers' face. They just didn't fix everyone else's.
I see.
Dante still has the bad heroin addict look going on.
Dante needs his fix. Only Mega Man can provide. Yeah.
Anyone can crack open Marvel Infinite and pick the team of Dante and Thanos, because that was everyone's team in Infinite, and go like, oh, this shit fire. Like, you played Dante and Thanos in Infinite. You remember that is, like... Dante in Marvel 3 is a little bit awkward. Dante in Marvel Infinite, whew!
Yeah,
whew.
I didn't play them as a team, but I did play both of them, yes.
Thanos... It's crazy because they got rid of everything Thanos had in Marvel 2. Because they're like, okay, maybe he shouldn't be a bubble-focused character.
Yeah.
But Thanos in Marvel Infinite is just 100% like, I really hope this guy doesn't get left behind. If there is a Marvel 4, it needs this Thanos, because this Thanos is an amazing fighting game character design.
I didn't even actually play Thanos. I just fucking teleported all over the screen and then did backstabs.
Exactly! Like, that Thanos had so much shit you could do, and he was a great example of one of those guys where it's like, okay, we can do Rushdown Thanos or we can do Zoner Thanos. Either which way, I'm scary.
Yeah.
Well, the gimmick with Thanos, you gotta remember, was Thanos also had that projectile that was the slowest, biggest projectile in the world and would eat other people's projectiles. So the Thanos game, if you didn't want to be a teleport nuthead... Nuthead? What's wrong with me? Anyways, nut job was, okay, put that down and just keep forward dashing with the fireball and poking them. And they can't poke you back because they'll touch the fireball and get hit.
Oh no.
Like, you remember Laura's fireball in Street Fighter V and how that game plan with her was put that out and dash under it? Like, it was that on crack.
Oh.
Like, it was the size of Thanos. It was amazing. And of course, you'd get the gimmick with Thanos where you'd take the Space Stone and you put them in the shame box and then just agonize them with wall projectiles.
Yeah.
Oh, good God. What if they added Urian and Urian picked the Space Stone? Pain!
Urian has a special Space Stone trigger where if you trigger it, all of the walls are Aegis reflectors.
Yeah. Oh, boy. What the fuck were we talking about? What was the starting topic?
Fantasy Strike and the lack of characters, the lack of interesting characters in Fantasy Strike.
Did they not play the panda?
Isn't the panda just Blanca?
No. Actually, the panda has some Blanca stuff, but it also has some Faust stuff, and it has some wacky stuff with setting up a trampoline that allows it to do projectile mix-ups, and it can bounce itself off the trampoline. Also, I thought Fantasy Strike had a really fun twist on the Guile archetype.
I don't know. Like, even gameplay-wise, the person bringing up this argument said, like, you know, most of the characters are just derivatives of other fighter game characters, and yeah,
absolutely. I mean, well, let's be real here. Most fighting game characters are a derivative of another archetype character that came before.
Yeah, but sometimes you can't tell us easily. Like, you know, who's Terry a derivative from? Ryu, obviously, but Terry has his other stuff.
Ryu has the same basic tools. They have the same basic tools, though, and I think that is pretty obvious. You can tell Rising Tackle is just the Shoryu, but with a different input. Power Wave is a Hadoken, but it goes lower. Did he have... Oh, Crack Shoot is pretty well just the Tatsu, but now it hits overhead, I guess. Terry's diversified down the years as he's picked up moves like Power Dunk and Charge. And I do think they're visually different enough to be interesting, but gameplay-wise, Terry's 3 basic tools are the same 3 basic tools that Ryu uses.
But then, you get to like fucking, I forget the name, but the Baron guy from...
okay, also, you bring up Terry, we gotta get in that Soul Bag guy. You immediately...
It's just Terry, yes.
It's just Terry. He is just fucking Terry. Like, Ki is a much more different twist on the Shoto archetype than Soul is, really.
Yes.
And that's mostly just because because Ki has the car and fucking divide. Oh god.
Yeah, the arc.
I mean, how many video games, how many fighting games have one base grappler character that is just Zangief?
Most of them.
Like, obviously the SPD is going to be the core of any grappler's moveset, but there are so many where it is just, here is this relatively slow dude with okay neutral buttons whose entire game is about either getting SPDs or making the opponent scared of SPDs. Like, Igzard, immediately off the top of my head, Potemkin in X2 and Strive is a very different character from Zangief because he has such monstrous pokes. But in Igzard, where Potemkin, has much stubbier buttons and just generally feels kind of bad, Potemkin in that game is just kind of slower, shittier Zangief. The ICPM is cool, but other than that, Igzard Potemkin feels so bad.
I don't know, because to me he feels the same as I does when I play him in every game, but then I just SPD. So
see,
I just charge it into SPD. Yeah.
Do 6H in X2, then do 6H in Igzard. And then do 6H in Strive. Like, X2 Potemkin, I can absolutely play footsies. If I'm playing footsies, Potemkin, and Igzard, I'm just like, it feels bad, man. The only good poke it feels like in Igzard is the sweep. Okay, there we go. There's the sound of silence. All right, that's the signal to move on. Alex, I think you're spinning a bunch of yarn of bullshit here. Well, do we have any other topics?
Not immediately. I'll take a look, but probably not.
I'm really fucking hungry, god damn it. I want food.
No.
I'm starting to get hangry. Ah. God, what the hell is Zangief gonna look like in Street Fighter 6? Because every time, like, my brain defaulted when DJ was coming out, when they were showing DJ at first, to like, oh, well, DJ will just be DJ. He'll do the same old DJ stuff. So naturally, when they show the new DJ stuff, I'm like, oh my god, he's so nuts!
Yeah.
And I know I'm gonna be the same way with Geef when they first show Geef in Street Fighter 6. It's like, oh, yep, Geef, he's gonna have the SPD, and he's maybe gonna have the Siberian Blizzard, and he's gonna have the run and grab. Maybe if we're lucky, he'll get Banishing Flats. And I know it's not going to actually end up being that. It's going to be like, oh, Zangief now has a pile driver where he just kills you.
Geef will get a chair, he'll just play like Kanji.
You know... Oh, good God. Well, you know that if I didn't have enough motivation to buy Street Fighter 6 day one and hop online immediately.
Yeah. Actually, I remember that I did have another thing saved. So, what is your fighting game hot take?
Didn't we just have that last week?
I don't remember.
I think oh god, we're trapped in it. We're like Sisyphus pushing the boulder up the fucking hill. Oh my god, what is your fighting game hot take? Well, I think we have them every week. Like we're both like we're both at like the part of the Dunning-Kruger effect where it starts to go downhill.
Yeah.
Right? Where it starts to go down and we're suddenly turning like, fighting games ain't hard. So we're in that perfect spot where we're still making dumb takes that a pro fighting game player will be like, that was a dumb take. But at the same time, we're still condescending to the casuals as well. So, I think our hot takes, I don't know. What did we already say? What did I say last time? I said, fight combos aren't that important. There we go. No, we need to throw out more of the tips that are actually useful for new fighting game players, right? Yeah. Which is blocking low is better than blocking standing. There you go. There's the big one. Sometimes it's better to not do anything than to just throw something out.
Yeah.
What else can I just throw out there? Like, is just big tips. I guess for like, okay, Street Fighter, you're dealing with zoning. The tactic is block and walk. But Mortal Kombat, it's, okay, does my opponent have a high projectile? Yes, he does. I duck. Does he have a mid projectile? Okay, there's supposed to be some kind of balance that brings the mid projectile back down to earth. So he either has a decent, Oh, I think I just burned out. I just heard the tires squealing in my brain of like, okay, we're out of gas. There's probably some downside to it. I don't know. That goes into detail too much. That's just, stick to broad tips. You shouldn't jump to move everywhere, but at the same time, jumping attacks are not as risky as you'd think. Don't shore you can immediately while on the ground. Well, that's really more of a tip for mid-tier players than low-tier players, isn't it?
The thing with sure you can go on the ground is don't sure you can every time. If they consistently stand over you, do it.
Yes.
But you need to learn if they're gonna stand over you or not, because if not, then that's a problem.
Some tactics just straight up won't work on some people because they just don't respect. They have no respect.
Yeah.
This is a lesson I have to learn every time we play fighting games, because I will play against Soon or Pink, who will respect my bullshit, and then that lets me get a throw. And then I play against you, and it's like, I hit you 5 times, stop throwing out moves, and you go, no. So inevitably, I'll hit you 5 times, and it's like, okay, Addy's spooked now, I can go in for the throat. No, I can't. And I learn that lesson again every day, and then I forget it as I go to sleep that night.
I'll stop when I'm dead.
Combos aren't that important. A lot of the pro players aren't good combo guys. Justin Wong is probably the most successful competitive fighting game player of all time, and is notorious for his very simplistic, low damage, low reward combos that he just simply does because he can actually do them consistently. Consistency is more important than being flashy or getting big damage.
Yes, but
if there is a small 3-hit combo you can do consistently, and a big 10-hit combo you only successfully do 1/5 of the time, don't do the big combo.
Unless you're finally throwing the match.
And some combos are explicitly designed to be difficult for people who are combo masters. It does not matter that you can't do them. You cannot be a master of every aspect of fighting games. Mr. Jabroni down the row, or I don't know, Daigo, may sit there for hours studying combos, but that means there's other things he is not learning. Some of it is intuition, some of it is practice, some of it is lessons. There's a trifecta there. Everybody's stronger at some parts than others.
Yeah. Heart, body, and soul.
Some people are just really good at psychologizing and predicting what their opponent is going to do, and they learn player mentalities really quickly. Other people aren't very good at that, and they will just never figure out the mentality of a given player. Some people would like to sit in practice mode and pull open a wiki and look over everyone's frame data and work out, like, what are the best moves for each situation? What's the answer to this? A lot of people just look at that and go, bullshit, or a lot of people just rack their brain over it and still don't make progress.
Yeah.
And of course, the guys that are the big combo guys, the big parry guys, they can do that, and they're real good at that, and they like doing that, but then they suffer at predicting their opponent or knowing what moves are actually the best in a given situation. Excuse me. That'd just be how it do.
Yeah. If you yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, because I was gonna move on to another thing.
If you figure out that you're not good at something, it's fine. You need to make peace with that. Like, I tried looking at frame data. The reason I don't is because I've had it explained to me like 5 times how you read frame data. I can't. Does it make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Punch fest.
Yeah. Like that. It also comes down. Frame data is also a thing you have to get used to. There are different metrics for each game.
Yeah.
A move that comes out in 5 frames in Mortal Kombat is monstrous. A move that comes out in 5 frames in Killer Instinct or Marvel vs. Capcom is, it's fairly fast. But the other thing is, what was I going to say? Right. Like, frame data is, for a lot of people, simpler than it sounds. There's also a lot of people that it's impossible to learn. But either which way, it doesn't really matter. Because it's just a way of trying to scientifically quantify the stuff that more often than not you can just tell with your eyeballs.
Yeah.
It is just like, you see a car go fast, and if you're in there, you'd see the speedometer, but from outside the car, you can just tell the car's going fast. Do you need to know whether it is going 50 miles per hour or 52 miles per hour? Not really. Cars go fast.
Yeah, like really the best to continue your simile. Like, it's like seeing 2 cars go fast. They both cross the finish line. Looking at frame data is the picture finish to make sure which one of them was that hair faster. But that's it.
The frame data really just matters if you're sitting there like, okay, I want to know, is it possible for these 2 moves that look like they might be able to combo, but I haven't been able to get them to combo together? Can they combo? Okay, I'll look at that. Or, okay, can I do like this series of moves to a opponent who is blocking without him being able to retaliate? Yeah. And that's really about it in my experience. Though, of course, I'm no master. I'm no fucking competitive fighting game player. I'm no tournament player.
Yeah.
And your hot take last time, if memory serves, was single player is important.
Probably, I don't remember.
It is almost certainly that, or arcade mode is important. Or alternatively, it was the base launch roster is important, DLC does not fix it.
Yeah, probably. Like, all of these sound like things I would say, yes.
Or alternatively, not as much of the player base has the ability to afford DLC as the average dev thinks. That would be another thing you probably would have said as the hot take.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which I would go ahead and say consumer advocacy is generally not a hot take. It is usually the coldest take.
Yeah, I don't know if I would go out of my way to say that devs think that people can afford too much. If I would blame someone, it would be the publisher. But like, even then, it's I would more likely complain about the DLC not fixing the base roster than I would just the price of DLC characters, regardless of my opinion on them.
Yeah. Can I just go ahead and say also, Here's another thing, just on that note of rosters and launch rosters being satisfactory or unsatisfactory. It's funny that Street Fighter 6 is only going to have like 2 more launch characters than Street Fighter 5, but the launch roster of Street Fighter 6 is more satisfactory. Not just because the new OC character, the new generation of characters are better than Street Fighter 5's new generation, because holy shit, they are. But it's also, the Street Fighter 6 characters just seem like they individually have more going on.
Yeah.
Street Fighter 5, the launch roster seemed really thin just because Street Fighter 5, especially at launch, was a more simplistic game than Street Fighter 4 or 3 or even Alpha. So it felt pretty brutal that it started with less characters than any of those games except Street Fighter 3, and everybody knows the original version of Street Fighter 3 was poop.
Yeah.
Pretty UI though.
Like the thing with like the Street Fighter 6, like I don't really care for the base roster. None of my guys are in, but none of my guys. If I one guy actually, but yeah. Like I'll have,
well, you've got more than one guy in Street Fighter. I mean, Gan. I'm saying that like Jeb, Gan.
He's dead.
Yeah. Not for long.
Yeah, but also like I don't really play again.
Hang on, you've got someone other than Akuma. Dudley?
Yeah, I guess Dudley.
And Dudley's a shoo-in. Dudley missed Street Fighter 5, which means he's definitely in Street Fighter 6.
Yeah, but he's also on base roster. Like I'm talking about strictly the base roster.
Like, yeah, but you know there's going to be an arcade edition in a year or two.
Yeah.
Like that's always the position you and me end up being in, is that like you have to wait because the base roster is not to your liking, and on top of that, you don't have the funds at the time. Whereas I get in immediately because I have a lot of expendable income and I am dumb. And it always ends up in the situation where it's like 2 years down the line, it's like, yeah, I've been here the whole time and I paid a shitload of money for the DLC and you paid way less. Fuck. Why dumb? Why I dumb?
The thing with
I keep doing it to myself.
I mean, the thing here is that I want to buy Street Fighter 6 to launch because the gameplay seems good and all that. It's just that I don't even know who I'd play because like I can play Ken, I guess, but I don't. Do I want to play Ken? You know?
Yeah. And with the new characters, there's no way of knowing until you try. And the only new character you've tried is Luke, who is not your boy.
No, I haven't even tried Luke. I'm not paying money for him.
Oh, that's right. I will say Jamie seems like he could be up your alley, though.
Yeah, maybe, but
you know who's
yeah.
You know who's another one of your boys in Street Fighter?
Who?
Or in this case, girl, Juri.
Oh yeah, Juri.
4, not 5, but everyone feels that way.
Yeah.
There's 2 guys who like Street Fighter 5 Juri better than Street Fighter 4, and we've been trying to push them out of the fighting game community for years now for being a toxic influence.
Are you actually referring to someone, or is this completely a joke?
This is a joke.
Okay.
See, you knew it was a joke because I said there was anyone who liked Street Fighter 5 Juri better than Street Fighter 4 Juri. The obvious part was in the setup.
Yeah.
My God, I don't know about that. That was a bad done dirty there. Like, there are examples of fighting game characters getting done dirty in the next game just because the entire game design philosophy changed. Because, like, you know, there's so many characters in Guilty Gear that really make you mad and make me just apathetic. But the entire design philosophy changed from Ixard to Strive. Street Fighter 5's design philosophy isn't that different from Street Fighter 4, but my God, did Juri get butchered.
Yeah, Juri completely got butchered. Akuma got 2/3 of the way there.
Akuma did the Akuma classic of he lost some moves, but he also picked up a couple, so duh.
Did he pick up a couple?
Forward heavy punch.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Didn't he also get a new option out of Demon Flip?
No.
Oh,
No, I guess all he got is forward heavy punch. for not having fireballs, or what else did he lose? Because he lost
It's
something
Street
else.
Fighter. No
Yeah.
one. It's Street Fighter 5. No one has fireballs.
That's right. Ryu has them.
Oh boy.
That's right. Fong has them. That's the worst one.
Oh yeah. Oh god, you're totally right. Fong is a good enough reason for me to just go back to playing in Bison and go with the old projectile eating V skill instead of the teleport.
Yeah.
Even though the teleport's way cooler, but you know. Oh god, what is Akuma gonna look like in Street Fighter 6?
He's just gonna be Guilty Gear. Like, they're just gonna import Guilty Gear Xrd, the entire game, into Street Fighter 6, and then just put an Akuma skin over it.
I was just thinking of like the Shao Kahn variations you can make in Mortal Kombat 11, where he throws the hammer forwards, throws the hammer backwards, throws the hammer straight up, and it comes back down. Okay, I had the dumbest idea in my brain right now.
Yeah?
So, did you ever play Darkseid in Injustice 2?
Yeah, I think so.
So Darkseid had a unique mechanic with his super move, and I think also on the meter burn version of his regular projectile, where he would shoot out the Omega beams out of his eyes, right?
Yeah.
And he could control where they went with the left stick, and he could, like, draw shapes with them and shit.
Oh.
It was honestly like an Etch-a-Sketch projectile. And I'm imagining Akuma doing that with the Raging Demon. Like, the opponent is just running all around the screen trying to get away from it while Akuma raging demons after them.
Yeah, but the setup has changed, so instead of him gliding towards you, he teleports behind you.
Imagine Akuma raging demons you, but before he does it, he flies around the air, leaving a pattern of after images behind him and the pattern of a penis, and then he raging demons you.
His startup quote has also changed from die 1000 deaths to suck 1000 dicks.
Yeah. Oh man, that he gets unique voice lines depending on what you drew.
Yeah.
It was a little weird attention to detail. Man, there was a Twitter thread before I saw earlier of weird attention to detail in fighting games. The nuttiest one of just like why was, have you ever seen Platinum the Trinity's jab in Blaze Blue?
I think so. Oh, the Platinum, yeah,
So
yeah.
she random will just like wildly flailing stick out their hand, right?
Yeah.
And they have a random chance for it to either be an open palm, a closed fist, or a mostly closed fist, but they're making like almost a peace symbol outwards, right?
Yeah. Rock, paper,
Because
scissors.
they're playing rock, paper, scissors. And if it's a mirror match, and this is the only time the mechanic matters, if they're playing a mirror match and they trade jabs, then they actually play rock, paper, scissors, and whoever got the appropriate one will win the trade.
Nice.
Oh, you know, it's another just bizarre one of like, must have just been like the like after effects of an earlier planned mechanic. In Mortal Kombat X, there is a unique dialogue line that Sub-Zero, a unique dialogue exchange, Sub-Zero will say in a mirror match with himself on the Lin Kuei Temple stage. It is the only example in the entire game of there being a unique dialogue exchange based on a stage. And it's just for a mirror match of Sub-Zero against himself.
Huh.
Why?
Why not?
Like, that is 100%. They're planning on doing more of these at some point, but they only got in the one line.
Yeah.
Anyways. What the hell were we talking about? God, I am so hungry.
I don't know.
Okay, they finally left to go get food.
Alright. You're saved.
Well, I'm not saved until they get back.
Yeah. But it's closer.
Hopefully. Uh, right. Okay. Do we? Oh, this has been a disaster.
Yeah.
Do you have anything? Help!
I'm checking.
Send help, audience.
Yeah.
For that,
All
for all
one
five
you.
of you who are watching, throw out some topics in the comments
That's-
for us to hit next week, I guess, or next within
next episode.
the next 2 weeks. Yeah, next episode, whatever. Oh, good God.
I guess one thing to say that I don't remember if we put it out last week. Guilty Gear Xrds rollback thing has become the main branch. It's out. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's a good thing if everybody keeps doing this. However, neither of us like. I was fine with Strive until I played it the second time.
Yeah. You hate Strive a lot more than I do. Funnily enough.
There are a lot of people who really enjoy Strive, and more power to them.
Yeah. I think that's it then. I don't see any interesting topics. So, fighting games. Did you play any? Because we forgot to do this last time.
Well, it kind of didn't matter because I doubt I had played fighting games that week. Nonetheless, I have played a fighting game this week, which is the same one you've played.
Yes.
Mortal Kombat.
Yes. You know, I just really love in Mortal Kombat when I fight someone and Kano beats their head in and just cum explodes out of their head. But yeah.
Yeah. They were the worst. The coroner says it's the worst case of blue balls he's ever seen.
Yeah.
He'd been holding it so long it had replaced his blood.
So yeah, Mortal Kombat 11 is better than when we last played it. For context, we last played Mortal Kombat 11 before Aftermath.
Yeah, pretty far back. Not too long after launch.
Yeah. And it was stinky as hell.
I wouldn't have gone fully into stinky like it. I wouldn't have said it was bad, but it was just kind of like,
I mean, it was
a bit,
very disappointing.
It was a
and mediocre.
bit flavorless.
It was very, very disappointing and mediocre. Is how I'd put it.
I would just say flavorless.
I mean, that's what mediocre.
It lacked the spice.
That's what I'd say mediocre is. Just flavorless, nothing.
I mean, it's a well-made flavorless thing.
I guess. But yeah, yeah, go ahead.
It's definitely the best animation there's ever been in another NetherRealm game.
Yeah. Well, at least since they switched off of using real people.
Also became just giving different stage directions.
I think you cut out. I heard stage directions.
I imagine it was just giving different stage directions.
Yeah. Maybe.
Because AAA gaming, like, you kind of... Well, here's the thing. Like, it's not like, oh, motion capture causes bad fighting game animations. Because Street Fighter V was also motion captured.
Yeah, like, most fighting games or video games have been motion captured for a while. So it's like, that's not the issue.
The issue, of course, was, to be honest, here's my hot take. The fucking hullabaloo over NetherRealm fighting game animations is just wildly overblown. Like that one YouTuber guy, I don't know what his name is. He's some typical fucking, look at me, I'm cynical and an alcoholic or some gimmick like that. I don't know. He started all with like, oh my god, NetherRealm animation is so hideous. My eyes. I'm suing Ed Boon right now for making me blind. Him and Mr. Beast are gonna give me my eyes back. And everyone, it's always, YouTube, one important voice has so much power over the narrative, and it can be for good or it can be for ill. And on that particular occasion, it suddenly became the narrative. No one cared about NetherRealm fighting game animations before that guy went and made his video. But after that, suddenly everybody was like, oh, you know what's the problem with NetherRealm fighting games? The animation.
I mean, to me, it's a thing of like the animation is a big part of fighting games. So if the animation's like effed, that can be a problem, and it was a problem in Mortal Kombat. So
I don't think they're great, but I don't think that they're also like start pissing blood and crying out for mommy. The world is coming to an end. Ed Boon owes us his soul.
I mean, while people certainly blew it out of proportion that much, the original video didn't. Like after a while, the guy you're talking about just went, "Fuck y'all! I'm not making any more Mortal Kombat videos. Shut up." So
you can say fuck, but I can say fuck him too.
But yeah, like the entire argument that they raised was the animations like a punch in these games, these specific animations. Other ones, fine. Also, the stance button is dumb, and why the fuck do they keep including it? That was the argument.
That one is an odd one. It almost feels like they just keep that in as the I guess it's because they can't really figure out how to deal with player 1, player 2 side stuff. I'm really not entirely certain. I mean, on some level, it's a holdover from the 3D days, but yeah, it's definitely an odd choice.
Because it didn't have stance buttons. The 3D. Well, it did, but it was a combat style button, not a flip around button.
Well, you couldn't do the flip around. There was no flip around button, but your character would still have like where they would do different animations depending on. I mean, they wouldn't do different animations, but the animations would be mirrored, right? Because your character would turn on some moves. Because you can remember doing the Cossack dance with Ermac on Onaga that one day when we were dicking around, and the animation would mirror every other hit.
But yes, but that's a different thing to how it is in this game, where you can just like the animation still can mirror in the new Mortal Kombat, but they just have a fucking button wasted on that's turn around. Nothing changes. You just turn around.
Well, I mean, when you say you wasted button, it's like, well, did they ever have another button they needed anyways?
There's a couple things that they could add to that button. That's not that.
Well, then you're not really criticizing the stance flip button. You're saying I want a burst mechanic, right?
I'm not even talking about the burst mechanic, but like
I didn't mean specifically the burst mechanic, but like we're going in another direction here and blaming the stance flip for something else entirely here. Like, it's not Stance Flip's fault that they haven't added this mechanic that you want.
But I mean, even just the existing mechanics, like some of like, it feels like a lot of their stuff, a lot of their whatchamacallit. Shit, what do they call it? The quick buttons or whatever. I'm gonna check real quick. I can't check real quick. Shit, there is no control button. Whatever, the quick ways to access certain mechanics. Like a lot of times in Mortal Kombat, I've found that sometimes when things share a button, then they can conflict, and that's not something you want when things are mission critical, you know. So it's like, yeah, the stance switch button, I think allows you to do do some of the defensive stuff. But wouldn't it be nice if sometimes you wouldn't just start dancing instead of that?
I don't think it does. I think the stance switch button is only really outside of stance switching used for Shao Kahn's taunt and Kotal Kahn's totem summoning.
Ah, I don't remember.
Because I definitely accidentally input the combo breakout all the time, and I wouldn't do it if it was on left trigger.
No, the combo.
And the wake up moves
combo,
are on up
yeah.
and triangle and up and X.
I think the combo breakout is on right trigger. And I think the roll might be on stance switch, but I forget.
I'm pretty sure that's on right trigger as well.
Maybe.
Because I think that's supposed to be like they imitate the input for run for Mortal Kombat X, I guess.
I guess. But yeah, like basically, my one of my problems with stance switch personally is just that it feels like it has a dedicated button while a lot of things are cluttered or whatever, like crowded around one button. It makes things conflict.
Well, a lot of stuff is crowded around one button just so you go like, okay, this is the defense button, right?
I guess.
Like it's just supposed to be intuitive.
I also wish that this is a gripe that I have with NetherRealm overall, or I guess just Mortal Kombat as a series overall. I wish that in Mortal Kombat 12 they would include a thing where you can toggle it to turn it so black is to block, and then you just can get crossed up. Because I'd do that. I would rather do that. Because I will remember that R2 is block.
Well, Mortal Kombat's kind of balanced around the block button.
I think getting my shit pushed in worse. Like as long as it's
Like-
not just the default, but just a thing that you can switch, I think it would be fine. Like the way that they have more elaborate special inputs as an option, if you feel like that.
Well, I think part of the issue there is like casuals are going to turn that on, and then Scorpion.
Yeah.
Like you got to keep in mind anytime there's like a quality of life setting is like, okay, this would be very nice for high-end players, but would this just make low-end players mad?
But then it's not on. They fucking choose that shit. Like I'm saying, like I don't want that I don't want back to block to be the default in Mortal Kombat, because whatever they do the block button, shit, I don't care. Just give me the option to have back to block with whatever bad things that brings, and then I can choose to get my ass whipped. You know.
Right, but there are upsides to the block. There are upsides and downsides both to the block button because you are losing out on the ability to block against cross-ups because you can't get crossed up in Mortal Kombat with the block button. But you are gaining that the block button is a commitment, whereas back to block is not.
And I don't know. I need to check, but I think you can do the block button without a commitment as well, because like it's harder to do, but it's still an option if memory serves. To just do block out of everything, and like at that point the thing that's hitting you isn't, or the reason that you're getting hit wouldn't be the lack of block. It would just be the whatchamacallit, the recovery frames of moves.
Right, but if you think you're about to get poked and you don't in Mortal Kombat, then you're left blocking there like a numbskull for about a second. Whereas in Street Fighter, you just take a step back.
Oh yeah.
The other thing that should also be thrown in, and I don't remember if this is a mechanic for Mortal Kombat 11, but it was very much a mechanic for Mortal Kombat 9, is block dashing. Because block dashing can't work if you don't have a block button.
Yeah, I don't think block dashing is a thing in MK11. I don't remember
Let me
either.
pop up in the training mode, I'll check.
Alright.
Because that was a very important mechanic in Mortal Kombat 9 for several characters. Man, I woke up at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
You can cancel dashes in Mortal Kombat 11 by blocking.
All right.
It's not as monstrous as it was in Mortal Kombat 9, though. At least with Aaron.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can cancel a dash at any time with a block. Oh, come to think of it, I should go around and check who if characters have different dashes in Mortal Kombat 11. Because in Mortal Kombat 9, characters have very different dashes. Did you ever try Reptile in Mortal Kombat 9?
No, I didn't play a lot of Mortal Kombat 9 just because it like I had to turn it down to PS1 graphics.
It is on PS now, though, isn't it?
Not over here.
Ah, poop. Well, in that game, Reptile has a absurdly fast dash with a shitload of coverage, and it is honestly he can cover the whole length of the screen in like under half a second. It's absurd.
Ah.
And you throw in block dashing, and he's safe doing it.
Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, like as for the animation, it's one of those things where, like, as I said, the exact animations that the guy raises a problem did like an impact. Otherwise, eh, it's animation. Like, you know, it's one of those things where, like, once again, do I think that those animations break the game? No, but they can be like, in the long run it can be a problem, because if it props up with it, or you know, if enough moves have this lack of lack of a hit or whatever, lack of a weight to them, then the game, like, you know, then it just feels like you're punching nothing. And that's a weird thing to say, because, you know, you're still taking down people's health bars and all that, but any animation is important in conveying just how you're dealing damage.
Yeah.
So it's a thing of, like, if I hit you with a wet noodle, and even if you say it like that, then I still hit you with a wet noodle.
Yeah.
That being said, the people who were like, fucking Edmund needs to die because he made it so the crouching low kick for Kung Lao looks dumb. I don't know if that was actually one of the problem animations that they raised. I'm just throwing out the move.
It's a very common thing in certain NRS bad sides of the fighting game community is to show screenshots of crouching low kick on various characters. It's crouching low kick on Terminator. They hate crouching low kick on Terminator.
Yeah. And like another one of those things that we have to that you have to consider with MK's animations, and then one of the things that I consider, which I think it might just be because I started with one, so I'm in this series for the long run. But like a lot of these animations are callbacks. Like for Terminator, I mean, I think that's also a callback to a scene in the movie, if memory serves. I don't fucking know. I remember hearing that. But even if it's not, like, you know, that's or bad animation. Like, sure, it sucks, but whatever. But like with if Kung Lao, for example, if memory serves, Kung Lao has the same crouching low kick that he had in 3. Does the move suck? Yeah, they could have tried something to make it have more power to it, but at the same time, it's a callback to a shitty little kick that the guy did in like 95. So
remember the classic fatalities in Mortal Kombat X, and people were like, "Why do these suck?"
Yeah. I was really disappointed because in MK11, because Liu Kang has his Mortal Kombat 1 fatality back, but now people explode from it.
Yeah. It's a little bit thing of the, like, just more gore.
Yeah. Another thing that the guy raised, actually, now that I remember, aside from these, is just like more actually, like they raised more of a thing about the fatalities just being gore for the sake of gore and too long, which, yeah.
Yeah. They got pretty gratuitous in Mortal Kombat X, and they kept going.
Yeah.
Like, there's a couple I can accept that, like, they're just really vicious because, like, oh, that makes sense for the character. Melina's in Mortal Kombat X, oh boy, right?
Yeah.
But then it again gets me every single time that in Mortal Kombat X, Kung Lao had that fatality where he would cut your head off, it would fly up in the air, and while your head is up in the air, he cuts your body down the middle twice to make you into a flower. And it's just like, okay, why would Kung Lao, Mr. Shaolin monk, way of peace guy, like, it's bad enough trying to come up with explanations for why Liu Kang and Kung Lao would do fatalities at all, but why would they go this over the top?
Exactly. This was the main point of those videos that the guy made. That like it was more focused on the fatalities. Sure, they would go into the normal hits and be like, this animation is stinky because of this, but then that's this one move. So like, you know,
Well, it's
but the main thing was just like the narrative dissonance or whatever you want to call it of, okay, Kitana kills, or not Kitana, Melina kills people in a very gruesome way because Melina is Melina. That makes sense. That's fine. Liu Kang fucking punches a hole in a guy and then turns their corpse into ashes immediately. Up a touch. Why? Or like similarly, yeah, go ahead.
Liu Kang, I appreciated that he just had a simplistic fatality of he just simply punches a hole in your chest and you're dead. There you go. But then Mortal Kombat X, he had the one where he rips your throat out and then stuffs it down your mouth. And it's like, why, Liu? Why?
Yeah. And another one that they raised, which I don't like, it's one of those things where like I get the point, I agree to an extent, but also like, you know, it's more just the Liu Kang problem just applied more widely, where
Yeah.
they raised that the issue of if Cassie and Sonya fight, then they have some fun banter at the start of the match, and then hard cut to the fatality where Cassie is making a heart in her mother's stomach.
Yeah.
And like that's a problem because these characters have no reason to brutally murder each other. you
yeah,
assume.
it's of course it gets even more ridiculous and more because it like Johnny and Sonya or Johnny and Cassie or Cassie and Sonya. It's like the friendly banter indicating we are going to spar. Okay, now play Mortal Kombat 11 and put Shao Kahn against Collector.
Yeah.
And the dialogue will be, Mr. Shao Kahn, we need to recruit Jade to our cause. Okay, Collector, I'll put you on the job. I will not fail you, Mr. Kahn. And then the Collector beats Shao Kahn to death and rips his heart out and stuffs it in his bag. What?
Yeah.
Well, that's on the writing. That part is on the writing. That's not on the animation team at all.
Oh yeah, it wasn't like the person doing this wasn't just like the animation of Mortal Kombat sucks and here's why. It was, I have a degree and have worked in animation. I think I forget what they do. Either which way, they supposedly know animation. They'll talk about animation. Also, here's the problems with Mortal Kombat's writing, and how that affects fatalities.
Food just arrived. Fighting games were.
All right. I guess fighting games were.